Hey there everyone, Lord Frigid here with another episode of Aether Raid's Battle Dump. Today we are back in Light Season, the one recently completed, and I kind of discussed this briefly in the introduction of my last Aether Raid's Battle Dump video. But this Light Season, I just deployed the Cedar raiding party for every match. I've been doing that for a while now, so hopefully you enjoy that, and if you don't, well, that's unfortunate. The first map is a prison-style setup. It was pretty easy for me to kick things off by just having Sita sit in the range of the enemy's Bernadetta. Bernadetta is the only unit who can reach the space to the left of the defense fortress.
Let's go.
Or who can target the space to the left of the defense fortress. So I just had Sita sit there, and with the power of effective damage and triangle advantage, she was able to defeat her. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't even know if she would have necessarily needed all of those advantages, because Bernadetta didn't actually have her 30% mitigation on the first enemy attack, due to being in the range of the healing tower. So, that's interesting. Let's see here. There was actually one really cool little AI thingamajigger that I'd like to discuss that happened on the enemy phase of turn 2. So that's coming up. First, I need to take care of this Robin. I eventually decided that Ullr was the best way to go about that, since he can't stop her Luna from charging, and it just completely ripped right through his defenses. Now here, I was expecting Nott to move first, because both she and Olivia are melee with assist, and so the check, I thought, should fall to distance from my team, which looks like Nott. But as you can see, Olivia actually moved first. And that completely mystified me. I didn't even have a hypothesis until just now. And I'm thinking that what happened is Pathfinder caused the game to treat the distance from Nott to my team as being the same as the distance from Olivia to my team, which makes the tie-break for who moves first fall to the slot order priority, which Olivia did win, I guess. That's my guess. And I think it does make sense. Distance is, after all, calculated as a path from one unit to another. So using that verbiage, it makes sense that Pathfinder would behave in that way. It's just not something I ever thought I would need to think about. So that's a very unique interaction that you won't see every day. And let's see here. It worked. I was very fortunate in that case that Ullr was able to take a hit from that Olivia. I shudder to think how it would have turned out if the enemy was like a raven or something. That would have been pretty bad. The second map is an armor-based stall setup. The idea, as I didn't notice initially, but I found out pretty quickly that the objective is to get the armors on the defense tiles and then just have them stay on those defense tiles by rallying each other repeatedly. Not really a whole lot to talk about. Eventually I did find a way to break through their little death lineup, mostly by the power of enemy phasing. I had Sita just take care of, I think, the Duo Idun and the Kinnigus, and I think she player phased the regular Idun. The rest, Hector, I think, fell to Harmonic Sita, and Fallen Edelgard, I want to say Ullr dealt with her, but I don't fully remember. But yeah, it was a lot of enemy phase, and a tiny bit of Gale Force. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one play out, and see you in match number 3.
Let's go.
Expect nothing less.
Certainly.
What is it?
Good morning. Let's go.
I feel your gaze.
What can I do?
It will be done.
This'll be fun. Let's go.
Ready. What is it?
Yes?
It will be done.
Maybe this way. What next?
Yes. What is it?
Certainly. What next?
Ready. Eyes on the battle.
Let's go.
Expect nothing less.
Let's go. Yes?
Very well.
Good morning. Certainly. This'll be fun.
What is it? Just you try.
The third match is a space oppression setup. I kicked things off by just attacking the note below the Catria. I've actually found that there's a bit of a drawback to the increased Dragonflower limit, and that is Sita actually has a harder time getting under half HP with increased HP and defense when attacking a note that is not like plus attack or has Veronica or duo peony support to boost her attack up. So that's unfortunate. In this case, the Catria had speed def rain, so I took full advantage of that. That was nice. And yeah, I ended up trapping the peony, and that's it. There's not really a whole lot to talk about beyond that. Finish things off turn 2, yada yada yada. I'm gonna go ahead and let this match play out and begin the commentary again in match number 4.
Ready. What next? Good morning. This'll be fun.
Expect nothing less.
Certainly.
The fourth match is this kind of strange map that looks like it's built for anima season. Not a whole lot to talk about at all, really. I had kicked things off by having Ullr snipe the Saros, and there's no refresher, so the enemies couldn't reach me. And there were, no refresher, no movement shenanigans like warps and such, so this was a pretty straightforward match.
Very well.
Let's go.
Eyes on the battle. It will be done.
Certainly. Maybe this way.
Very well. Yes.
What can I do? This'll be fun.
What is it?
Good morning.
Very well.
Let's go.
Expect nothing less.
Yes? What next?
I feel your gaze.
Certainly.
The fifth match is a space oppression setup with 2 legendary Lilinas, 1 legendary Sigurd, 3 notes, and a fallen Edelgard. So a lot of pressure at the beginning, and it's kind of difficult to clean up at the end, just because fallen Edelgard's a pain to deal with sometimes. I placed Sita to the right of the Panic Manor on turn 2. I needed to take a turn to set up.
Expect nothing less.
And then after that, on the enemy phase, both Lilinas are able to attack Sita. Of course, they both die. Even though Sita is in the range of Note's attack speed menace, it doesn't matter because Lilina's really, really slow, and Sita has effective damage. And Lilina's defenses are also kind of garbage. The Panic Manor itself protects Sita from legendary Sigurd, so that was nice. And it was basically just cleanup after that. I actually had a bit of trouble thinking of a good way to take out the Sigurd. In retrospect, I should have switched the positions of Ullr and Freya. That would have made my life a little easier. Instead, what I eventually came up with was this fun little warp strategy with Peony's Gentle Dream enabling my Sita to warp to the other Sita to take out that Sigurd with effective damage and not triangle disadvantage. Let's see. Yeah, just more cleanup after this, I guess. I did actually run into a bit of trouble. Almost. I almost ran into a bit of trouble because I did not calculate the Ullr versus Edelgard matchup. I kind of took that as a given because usually she can deal with them pretty easily. What I forgot to take into account was that this particular Fallen Edelgard was backed up by 3 notes, which is plus 15 HP and plus 15 defense.
It will be done.
So, that was that. And then I made it even worse by the strategy with which I chose to deal with it, which was to refresh the Ullr. That was fine. But then I should have used Freya to smite Sita up to get her into Speed Def Rain. Def Rain range, instead of giving her a refresh and just plopping her there. Because at that point, if the Ullr matchup fails, there's no getting out of it. That's it. I have to lose a unit if in that scenario. Whereas if I played it a little more flexibly, I would have been able to use Azura's Refresh on Ullr to mount a retreat if needed, and then since I've got Freya bonus, I could have had her attack Freya to attack Edelgard to absorb the mitigation hit. But that's not how it played out, and fortunately, it didn't matter. So, yeah, just have to clean up this note on the enemy phase, which was pretty simple, especially given that I've got an effective damage axe cavalry sitting right there ready to take her on.
Let's go.
And yeah, that's it for this map.
This'll be fun.
The 6th match is, I guess I'll call it a prison setup. It basically is. I did notice that the Azura's first action on the enemy phase is to go and refresh the note, since she can reach the space below the note with Pathfinder.
Very well.
And I took full advantage of that.
Yes.
Because from that position, Azura is just completely exposed. I was able to have Ullr snipe her, getting the enemies moving. And then let me think. I forget what exactly the positioning looked like after that. I believe I ended up taking out the Note, Fjorm, and Krom. And then I left someone in range of Triandra. We'll have to see when this enemy phase movement plays out. Let's take a look at this. All right, so Hell goes first, melee no assist, and then yeah, okay. So yes. So that's definitely what happened. I actually had a bit of I wasn't sure if I needed to go full offense, and then I eventually decided that I did.
What can I do?
I just didn't like the scenarios that I was looking at, as far as what would happen if I left all or even most of them alive. Just the combination of refreshing and to change fate was not something I thought was pretty. So yeah, again, as you see here, Sita is able to just barely take out that Krom, or well, I mean, just barely, from the sense that she almost didn't survive, as opposed to she almost didn't take him out.
Very well.
And then I was able to leave Sita in Triandra's range, drawing fire from her, and preventing her from refreshing either Hell or Bramimond. So that was the strategy there. And yeah, that's really it as far as strategy. The rest of this is just cleanup. Ullr's desperation effect really came in handy here,
What is it?
allowing her to just cut down the Hell without having to take a counterattack, which obviously would have been disastrous. And yeah, I just finished off Bramimond on the next turn after grabbing that Aether Amphore.
Good morning.
Yes.
This'll be fun. Maybe this way. What next?
The 7th map was a 7th slot trap, with the idea being that Sigurd jumps in front of Innis to get a refresh in, and then gets a rally from Selena if there's anybody in his range, and Selena herself will get a rally or a refresh from Azura and could potentially go off and hit someone in the face. Fortunately for me, I have a flyer, so I could fly Sita right over that forest tile there. And she was able to take out the Note, eating exactly half HP, which allowed Azura to warp to her. That came in handy after Sita walked up and took out the Selena, allowing Azura to take out the Sol and then refresh my Harmonic Sita. Now, Harmonic Sita can't activate Gale Force against the Sigurd. She does not get the Heavy Blade activation. But with him gone, she's able to activate her Harmonized skill, giving Sita another action and allowing her to take out the Bramimond. I initially thought that Azura was going to attack Sita, and I was confused when she didn't. But then I remembered, oh wait, Sita has this encounter. If she'd attacked, she would have died. So obviously she chose to not die immediately. And I was able to take her out on the second turn after dealing with the Aether structures. This last map is technically the 10th match of my season. I did have 2 surrenders immediately prior to this. And since this map is not particularly interesting, I'll go ahead and talk about the surrenders instead. Like seriously though, why would you put all of this mobility power behind a wall of structures? That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, the surrenders. For a bit of context, I do my last match, or in this case matches, of the season at around 6 in the morning. I actually set my alarm for 5:45. And that is because of my work schedule. I usually work from around 7 to around 3. And technically the hours are flexible, but I really like getting off around 3. So I make sacrifices in other areas. Like my Aether Rays gameplay, and usually, or well, not usually, sometimes, that does lead to some ladder usage. Unfortunate, but that's how it is. Especially unfortunate because usually when it happens, it's to really, really silly mistakes. Like the first match, extra frustrating. I ignored the fact that the enemy Peony's Gentle Dream gives warp power. You know, the same way that my Peony's Gentle Dream gives warp power, which I abuse all the time. So I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did it. So usually these matches would actually be here in the Battle Dump. But I'm feeling kind of lazy this week, and I really didn't feel like putting together the overlays for those matches. The overlays are honestly the most time-consuming part about these videos.
Very well.
So, yeah, that's what happened. Next time, hopefully. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I just lost 2 matches off of really, really stupid mistakes. Unfortunate.
What next? Let's go. What next? Good morning. Certainly.
It will be done.
Let's go. Let's go.
Just you try.
Certainly. What next? Ready. Certainly.
Eyes on the battle.
Yes?
I feel your gaze.
This'll be fun.
Yes.
Let's go.
Eyes on the battle.
Let's swim.
If you insist.
Certainly. Maybe this way. What next? What can I do?
I feel your gaze.
And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Race Battle Dump. Sorry again for not being able to put together the motivation to get the materials together for those 2 surrenders. I really just wasn't feeling it. Going forward, I think I am going to at least try 1 week of daily uploading, where the video shows the match I played from the previous day. Or matches, depending on what day it is. They do 2 matches on Sundays. So we'll see how that goes. I think at least it will, for me, it'll help force me to actually do all the prep stuff on the day of, or maybe the day after, instead of just saving it all for the end of the week and having to do 8 overlays and commentary and blah, 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 blah. And, ugh. On the viewer end, it might help make things more digestible, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to give that a try, and hopefully it works out. Yeah, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you then.